Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, my name is Venkat Lakshmi and I would be doing the session on study skills today. Let us begin our session by playing a small guessing game. I have put up a list of 10 to 12 words here. Quickly guess and let me know what these words refer to. I think most of you all have guessed it correctly. The place being referred to is a hospital. Now, I am going to make a small change in the same list given here. I am just going to strike out doctor and patient, and instead of that I am going to write teachers and students. Now, can you guess the place that is being referred to here? Again, you have guessed it right. The place that is being referred to here is a school. But isn't it sad and very worrying that a school and a hospital should have so many things in common? Remove the people, the feelings are the same. Fear, stress, anxiety, worry. These feelings in relation to a hospital are perfectly understandable. But fear, stress, worry, anxiety with respect to a school, something's quite not right, isn't it? Learning is what's supposed to happen in a school and learning is supposed to be fun. So what is it about school that causes all these negative feelings? Take a while and think about it. You have guessed it correctly. It is the first word that comes to your mind when I utter the word school, and that is examinations. It is this fear of examinations that cause so much of stress and worry in the minds of young people, which takes me directly to the first slide, which is on challenges. So what are the challenges that teachers and students face while preparing or appearing for an exam? From the point of view of teachers, it is not about teaching the concept or making the child understand the concept, but now it has become more about teaching the child how to learn the concept which would help in his retrieval during examinations. From the point of view of students, it is about understanding the concept, but it is more about retrieving the concept on demand, and by on demand I mean during examinations. This is where this session of study skill might help you to find a solution to these challenges faced by students and teachers. So what are study skills? Study skills are pictorial or graphical representations of an answer. What are the advantages of using a study skill versus the conventional method of learning? It is very easy to do, both for teachers and students. It helps in easy recall, and because we are going to use colors and pictures, it will help in enhancing the retrieving capacity of memory, and because of coloring, because of pictures, it helps to hold the focus and attention of a child. Before we go into the tools and techniques used in study skills, let us actually see what are the factors that influence studying skill in children. There are four main factors. The first is memory. The second is style of learning, the third is organization or management, and the fourth is attention. Now let us see each one in detail. The first factor that we are going to see is about memory. What is memory? Memory is not only the capacity to hold information, data or experiences for a long period of time, but it is also your ability to use those past experiences to guide your future action. And what is it that makes memory so unique? The most unique feature of memory is that you actually do not know what is in your memory unless something happens to trigger it. That is why many times you might have seen people saying, oh, I had a similar looking frock say when I was 10 years old. Now this is this aspect of memory that we are aiming to tap when we use study skills for learning. There are three kinds of memory: short-term memory, long-term memory and active working memory. The two main important characteristics of short-term memory are information that is stored in a short-term memory stays there for a very limited period of time, and the capacity of the short-term memory is very limited. It is only 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information. Long-term memory is exactly the opposite of short-term. The capacity to store information is enormous, and data which is there in your long-term memory stays there permanently. What is active working memory? As the name suggests, active working memory is active and it is working. It is here where processing and manipulation of information happens. A dyslexic child mostly is an unconventional learner. So for such children, learning using a study skill will help to enhance the active working memory and makes the transference of this learning to your long term very easy. If you imagine memory to be a table, the data or the information constantly comes through the short term memory. The techniques and the methods are taken from the long term memory, and the processing of information happens in the active working memory. The next factor that we are going to see is style of learning. Style of learning is nothing but the way in which information is put into your system. There are 4 styles of learning. One is your visual way, auditory way, kinesthetic way and your tactile way. Visual way is you see and you learn. Auditory is you hear and you learn. Kinesthetic is you use your body parts and you learn. And tactile is you touch, you feel and do a demonstration. Now all of us will have all these 4 styles of learning, but one style may dominate the other style, and that becomes my style of learning. The third factor we are going to see is a complex one, and it is called organization. Organization is a higher order executive function, and there are 4 different types of organization. They are space organization or management, material management, thought management and your time management. Let us see about space management. What is space management? Space management is the ability to manage oneself and things in relation to the space around us. In children with spatial issues, the presentation of the written matter might become very difficult. Doing math might become difficult. Children might actually start writing from the middle of the page instead of from the margin. There might be inadequate spacing between words. They might have difficulty in keeping up the line, and in many cases you might actually find children writing diagonally instead of horizontally. Next we proceed on to material management. Material management is the ability to manage one's own material so that work is done efficiently. So children with material management issues may never or usually they will forget to bring the items required for that particular day or class or for that particular task. Example, they might forget their books, their notebooks, their stationery or even forget doing their homework. They might find it difficult to organize materials needed to finish a given task. A simple solution to this might be to color code their notebooks. Say for example, you can use a red color for a maths notebook. So just by looking at the color, they might know which books are there, which books are not there and which books are needed to be taken to school. The next management we are going to see is thought management. What is thought management? Thought management is the ability to organize your thoughts and ideas in a logical or a coherent manner so that they appear very clear when presented in an oral or a written form. Now, you might find children having lot of thought management problems. So, children with thought management problems will find listing out their ideas in a sequential manner or expressing the ideas meaningfully. In an exam situation, they might actually find it difficult to go from general to a specific. Like, say for example, if the question is about write the role of Mangal Pandey in the Great Revolt of 1857. So, instead of writing only about Mangal Pandey, they might actually end up writing all that they know about Great Revolt of 1857. The next thing we are going to see is time management. What is time management? Time management is the ability to manage time effectively so that the right amount of time is allocated to each task so that the entire work is efficiently completed. So, children with time management problems may find very difficult to complete their work in a stipulated time. So, when it is transferred to an exam, they might find it difficult to completing the paper within say 2 hours or 2.5 hours. The last factor that we are going to see is attention. What is attention? Attention is the ability to direct or focus on a particular task for a specific period of time. There might be problems in attention. You might have hyperactivity and attention deficit or attention deficit. Now, if you have problems in attention, retrieving and studying will be difficult for the child. Now, if you have no problems in attention and yet finding the child having difficulty in retrieving an answer, study skills will definitely help him. Study skill will also help him to sustain his interest and motivation and help him in his learning and retrieval better. I want to address an important question now. To use or not to use a study skill when you have a child whom you know has a difficulty in retrieval. Now, as a teacher, if you find a child having problems in retrieval, first check his reading and his comprehension. If his reading and comprehension are at class level and yet he is finding retrieving difficult, then please go ahead and use study skills. It is definitely going to help him. Now, if his reading itself is a problem, his comprehension also has some issues, please remediate his reading and comprehension and then go on to do his study skill. The second important point that I would like to stress here is not all children would be inclined to use study skills as a learning tool. Let us not force them into using a study skill. We will have to teach them the way they learn and not teach them the way we know how. The third important point here is that the comfort level of each child varies with each study skill. So, choose a study skill which is comfortable for the child, do the learning and then proceed with the writing. In this way, retrieval will become much easier. So, in this session we saw what are study skills, what are its advantages versus the conventional method of learning, what are the factors that influence studying skills in children and whether to use or not to use study skill. In the next session, we would actually be seeing some of the techniques of study skills.